Hello and good afternoon to you guys. I hope that you had a wonderful Christmas holiday and you're going to have a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I just want to touch base with you guys and see how you are doing. If you leave a comment, let me know how your holiday, how your Christmas went. Mine was lovely. Got to see my parents and my adorable daughter and her friend, and got to spend some quality time and play a few games. We're a game family. We always have been. We love to play like Sorry. It's very competitive. And so we did that and had a lovely time over at my husband's sister's house with the whole family, and it was really great. And then the next day I got to see my parents and hang out with them for a few hours, and then we, because they're down visiting, so I don't get to see them often. And then we had a nice, lovely dinner with them last night at the Alamo. That's been around for 50 years. And we've been going there since I was wee little. Anyway, so I just wanted to touch base with everyone and see how things are going. A lot of people are feeling, I've been noticing or hearing from friends or people even on other YouTube channels, that they're feeling a little strange, like something's different. And so I like to listen to Magenta Pixie is one of my favorites. Higher Self is one of my favorites. Of course, Jacob Israel. He's like straight and to the point, no BS, just truth. He doesn't try to, fear monger. And I'd love to interview with him one day and just have some powwow back and forth. He's actually the first one that I came across his video about the Mandela effect a couple years ago. So that was really cool, and I just resonated with what he was saying and love, listening to him and new things that he has to say. So thank you, Jacob, for the wonderful, positive comments. I really appreciated them. So a lot of people are feeling, something's weird, and from what I'm gathering, and, I don't know if this is your truth. I take I watch a lot of different YouTube videos that are to do with your soul and your evolution of soul and, your higher self and whatnot. And I go through those, and whatever resonates with me is what I kind of believe. If it rings true with you and it's like, oh, this makes sense, then I know in my heart that it's true, because that's what I'm going for, is to be in the heart. Always be centered in the heart, and your answers will always come to you, I believe. So if you're confused or you don't know something, or if you're just waking up to this matrix, this reality, whatever it is, welcome. We're all here for you. There's so many people that are here for you that are have been at this for years. They've been awake for many years. There's supposedly non-human people that are coming, and they're looking out for us, and they're here with us already, and they're going to have disclosure, like a soft disclosure, over in, I think it said England, and the Arcturians or Pleiadians, I'm not sure. I get those mixed up. And but they're all benevolent, and they're just lovely, and they're here to help with our ascension to a higher frequency. And so I am so ready for it. Like, it's what I live for, and helping others to wake up to the fact that they need to live in their heart. And the hardest thing for me, I have noticed, and maybe you can see if this is for you too, I'm trying to get rid of the ego. And I know someone said, who's been into this evolution of himself for probably 17 years, I think he said. And he believes that the ego is what keeps us. We have to have ego for our protection, and I get that. But then on the other side of the coin, I feel like the ego is kind of what is the problem. Too big of an ego, I guess. I don't know. I mean, everybody needs to be able to stand up for themselves, not take any kind of abuse, or, be treated wrongly. But then which is sort of ego, if you have, because if you had no ego, you just let someone stomp all over you. So there's a fine line, I think, between having not so much of an ego, like, you know, if you get in a fight with someone and you're like, oh, I'm not apologizing, I'm not apologizing, they need to apologize. I've had that run in with certain people that I know, and I did the apologizing. I emailed, I texted, I said, I love you unconditionally. I'm sorry for whatever I caused you. And to me, I might have caused them pain, but, and it's all perception, and it's how I view things. It's my perception. It's their perception of, whose fault it is, who started it, yada, yada. So my thing is, I am so the first one to say, I'm sorry if I've hurt you. Let's get over this, because life is so short. My mom has a very dear friend, and her mother passed on Christmas, and it was just like, it broke my heart, because now, if that person doesn't see the love and the joy, and like to make every Christmas after that honoring the mother and making it a celebration, every Christmas is going to be ruined for that family if they don't know how to deal with that loss on a Christmas day. So I really feel for her family, and I send her love and kindness, and I hope she gets not over, but I hope she can work through the pain of losing her dear mother. And life is so short, and I just heard of someone else who lost their family member, and I'm thinking, and these people who are keeping this argument and fighting going within some circles of mine, it's so sad, because I love them and I want my family to be happy, and some of my family members need the rift to be closed so they can be happy. Like, I'm fine either way. I love them unconditionally, and I don't need to have a relationship necessarily. I'm doing it. I wanted to have the fences mended for other people in my family who desperately want that, so they don't have to hop around to different homes at Christmas. We can all be together. And I pushed that envelope probably a little too far, and I realized I'm just banging into a door, like hitting a wall. And it resonated with me finally to stop. Like, they're not ready. They obviously aren't ready for to bury the hatchet and just move on, because life is too short. And it's crazy. It's crazy to keep something up, whether you feel you're right or I was wrong, you were wrong, whatever. Agree to disagree and start fresh. And that's what today's kind of topic and how I feel. I'll just tell you a quick story. So years ago, I was married to my kid's dad, and we were in the military, and we lived in Hawaii. And I had gone home with my children, and my husband was there staying because he couldn't get off work. And we lived off base, but it was still a base housing. And this woman who lived right down the street, she never spoke to me. And the lady that lived across in the quad from us, she was best friends with this lady who lived down the street. And she stopped talking to me for I don't know why. But anyway, so when I was away in Florida visiting my family, my husband said at the time, oh my gosh, because we had a puppy. We had a puppy, and he was taking the dog out. And this pit bull broke out and was running over and jumped on my husband. And he didn't attack him, but it's kind of scary. It's a pit bull, and whether they're nice or not, if they bite one time, their jaws lock. It's like 5,000 pounds per square inch or something. So he told me about it, and I knew who it was. So I am not a confrontational person at all. I'm not a dramatic. I can't stand any kind of drama in the fighting. I just, do the moonwalk back because I don't want anything to do with that. But on the other hand, it was a pit bull. It did come after, ran after my husband. It could have he could have killed the puppy like that. So I went over to her house when I got back, and all I did was knock on the door. And I said, are you the one that has the pit bull? And I was going to say, when she said yes, I was going to say, I just wanted to let you know that he got loose, so he's probably getting out, and I'm very tactful. I'm a very tactful person. I was not trying to be mean or anything. As soon as I said, are you the lady that owns the pit bull? she started cursing at me. She called me Fat B. Just horrible stuff. And I was like crying. And I, back in the day, this was like probably 22 years ago. Yeah, probably 23 years ago. And she started screaming at me. So I, cursed back at her, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, you're one too. And then I stomped away and went home. And I told my husband at the time, I'm like, I did nothing to her. I did absolutely nothing. And she started screaming at me. And he was like, oh, you must have said something. And I'm like, no. Like, he didn't back me up. He didn't say, yeah, honey, I know you wouldn't have said anything mean. No, he doubted me. And so it really bothered me. And so about a week later, I got a knock at the door, and I answered it, and it was that lady. And she was in tears, and she said, I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? And I started bawling, and I'm like, of course, like not even hesitating, because I knew in my heart that she had something on her. She had a chip on her shoulder. She jumped at me before she even gave me the opportunity to speak. And she knew she was wrong. And talk about vindication. I felt my heart was just full. And I was like bawling, and we hugged. And ever since that day, until we moved, she would come over and sit on the stoop with her friend. Her friend still wouldn't talk to me. There was another story behind that one. But anyway, every day, hi Tracy, how are you? Like genuinely kind. And I tell you, that was one of the most poignant times of my life. That it was amazing. Now I could have just shut the door and said, no, bitch, and slammed the door. No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't even have thought of that for a millisecond, because this woman was putting her ego away, coming to my door to apologize. That took some balls. That took some, like, amazing courage to do what she did. And for me to even have thought a second to not forgive her would have been a huge, huge error on my part. And I would have never, ever thought of that, not for an iota of a second. So that's one of my amazing stories that just warms my heart to tell it. And another thing, another quick story. Growing up, sometimes kids can do some mean things. And I wasn't much of I was never like a bully in school. I was never, a brat or a picked on anybody. But there was this girl when I was in high school, and she was on our dance team. And we were at a hotel because we were doing like a competition, and it was an old-fashioned hotel. It was a motel where, you're on the bottom floor and there's curtains, and it's one floor on the ground. And it was so mean, and I participated. She was in the shower, and we like grabbed her clothes and kept her and opened the curtains, and I felt horrible, like my entire rest of my life. After I graduated and stuff, of course, it didn't like hit me because I hadn't fully matured to realize, God, that was so cruel and just despicable. And that wasn't me. Okay. So I wanted to make amends for anything that I have done over the years to people. And she was the biggest one. And I kept putting it out in the universe. I need to find this person. I looked her up. She wasn't on Facebook or any of the social media. And she used to live here, but she didn't live here anymore. I asked somebody, in our circles, and they said, I think she lives on the West Coast now. And I was like, great, because I live on the East. And I thought, God, source, whatever you want to call it, universe, please have this person appear, and let us run into each other, because I want to make amends. I want to say I'm so sorry for being a horrible human to you. So, man, you put something out in the universe, and this is another thing. I got chills just talking about it. Warmed my heart. I just so happened to have my girlfriend in town, and it was late, and it was like not even lunchtime. It was around like 2 o'clock, and she's like, hey, where do you want to go eat and we can talk and catch up? And I'm like, sure. How about we go to Jason's? It just came to me, right? But it didn't just come to me. It's like something told me, go to Jason's. So I go into Jason's Deli with my girlfriend, And there it is. The universe provided that lady. There she was. And I was like, thank you, thank you. I didn't care if she would, you know, say, screw you, get away from me, you're horrible. I didn't care. I saw her and I knew I had to apologize to this person for being a horrible human. She was with her aunts, I think, or her grandma. And I said, can I please steal you away for a moment? And she was so gracious. And she gave me a hug. And I said, this has been bothering me for like 30 years. I have to tell you something. Remember, blah, blah, blah. And she acted like she didn't remember, but I know she did. How can someone forget unless she blocked it out because it was so horrible? And I said, I just wanted to tell you I am so sorry. I apologize for being that horrible human. And she forgave me. And I was like bawling again because, you know, that was big for her. To just forgive me was amazing. So those were the two most wonderful things and times in my life where I was vindicated and apologized to for being screamed at. And I welcomed her with open arms. And then this person forgave me and welcomed me into her art with open arms. And it was just, it's just the best feeling in the world to know that you did the right thing. So if you have anybody out there and you want to make your karma better, or just do it to be a good person, someone you wronged, do the right thing and just tell them you're sorry or you're apologizing. And you know what? They don't have to forgive you because that's on them. Just like I've forgiven people who have been evil, mean, vindictive, vicious, called me horrible names like snake and just crazy stuff. And this was like people in my circle, okay? My circle of friends and so forth. And I've forgiven them all because, you know, I don't have to ask for forgiveness. I mean, I would say I apologize and I love you unconditionally, but the point was when someone treats me wrong or disrespects me, I forgive them because that only helps myself. It doesn't matter, you know, if they know it or whatever. I'm doing that for me. So I just wanted to share those stories because they're amazing and they warm my heart. And just to tell you and share this with you is kind of divine. Like, I don't know when I'm going to what I'm going to start talking about when I start talking. So, you know, I just wanted to share this wonderful, these two wonderful events that happened in my life, probably like, I don't know, 15, 20 years apart. But it was, you know, one of the most memorable, wonderful, heart-filling experiences of my life, and I will never forget either one of those. It was great. So if you've done somebody wrong, even if it's a little thing, just apologize and give them a hug, and they don't have to forgive you. Remember, you're doing it for your karma and your heart, and you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, so you don't, you know, and if you want forgiveness and they aren't ready to give it, it's okay. Everybody has everything in their own time that they're ready for, and, you know, they'll forgive you in their own time. Maybe it's not even, you know, something that they're supposed to go through in this lifetime. Everybody's at different, you know, times where they're evolved or things that they have to learn still. So I just wanted to share that with you. And let's see, I was going to go over a letter today, but I'm almost at 20, so I will do that probably tomorrow with you. So I wanted to say, have a wonderful afternoon, the rest of it. Smile, because you think, you know, sometimes when you're walking or you're walking around with something, you don't think someone's watching you, but just always think someone's watching you. So smile, because you're putting that vibe out there that you're welcoming, you're happy, and it shows, like, and mirrors other people, and there's always someone watching, even if they're invisible. So anyway, have a lovely day, and peace to all of you, and be patient with people, okay? Make somebody's day, you know, give a homeless person a drink, you know, a bottle of water, some leftover cookies or something that you don't want that you're just ready to throw away. Think about that. Throw them in your car in a baggie, and when you see a homeless person, bam, that's what I do. All right, take care and have a good one. Peace.